Hi, I'm Tanja. Welcome to the class today. We've got a little quickie for you. If you've recently had a hip replacement or you're looking for some kind of exercise to help your recovery, then this little session is just for you. We're going to be focusing on a nice little bum burner just to help strengthen those bums that help keep those femur bones into the hip socket. So keep you nice and stable and nice and strong. So you're not going to be needing any equipment today, just I like to have a little cushion under my head sometimes, so you might want a little towel or nothing. But before we get started, if you do find this video useful and helpful, same thing, please will you like our Facebook page? The link is in the comments, in the description box, and will you please subscribe, because it just helps YouTube to share the video with other people as well. So let's get started. We're coming down onto the back. So the first thing is just to become aware of the alignment. I always feel like I'm off the mat. So we're going to become aware of our alignment first. So I always like to just take a couple of seconds to ground as you come down. So just as you lie down, just notice what your chin is doing. And just drop the chin to the throat a little bit. So for me personally, I have a block under my head, because if I don't have a cushion, I feel like my head's falling backwards. So just see how that feels in your neck. If you feel like you're in that kind of shape, then you might be, a little cushion might be beneficial for you. Okay, so the chin is towards the throat. I like to have palms facing up. It just helps to open up those collarbones. And then just feel how your back feels on the mat. So you'll notice your rib cage is heavy. And you might find there's a little bit of space or lightness in the lower back. So that's where we have that natural curve. Now some people have a really big natural curve, and some people might have like almost a flat back. So I want you to find that point for you where it's kind of in the middle. And one way I like to feel into that is where you feel the weight, the pressure in the back of your hips, is going to be just above your coccyx. So like there the weight is in my coccyx. It's going to be just above the coccyx, but there's no spine on the floor. So think of where the elastic band is of your trousers. We're not going to be putting any weight into the elastic band. So usually that's kind of a neutral position. And the other thing you can look at is your pubic bone and your two hip bones. If I had to put my fingers and my thumbs over there, that should be in a nice straight position. So it's not in that position and it's not there. So it's even over there. And then your knees are in line with these two little hip bones at the front of the pelvis. So this is called a neutral position. Sometimes people can put too much emphasis on it, but we're just going to move, shall we? So take a deep breath in. On the exhale, your tummy is naturally going to pull in, and then I want you to hug your tummy down towards the floor. So I'm just going to move my hand out the way so you can see. So on the exhale, everything's going to be pulled down, and you're going to imprint your spine into the mat. But now what I want you to pay attention to is that it's not your pelvis pushing. Just for this first part, I really want you to make sure that it's your tummy hugging down. It's your tummy pulling your hips towards you. So everything in the back of the leg should be nice and soft. And then release back to the starting position. So breath in. On the exhale, roll your hips towards you. Imprint your lower back. Hug that tummy in, and I can just feel my shoulders hunching. So relaxing the shoulders, back of the legs are nice and relaxed, and release back to the starting position. So now we're going to go up into the full movement. Inhale. On the exhale, roll your hips towards the rib cage. Now I want you to squeeze your bums as much as you can and send your hips up towards the ceiling. When you're at the top, there's no weight in your neck or your head. It wants to be below, like in between the shoulder blades. We're just going to hold that for a moment. So again, I like to use my hands. I want my body to give me feedback. So are your two hips on the same height? Or maybe, so pay attention to the side you've had your hip done, has that hip dropped? So can you squeeze? Now I know sometimes ladies have got big boobies or big bellies, so it can be a little bit hard to see, but this is why if you use your hands, sometimes that can give you the feedback. Now I'm going to come down. So when we come down, I want you to keep squeezing your bum up. So what we're aiming with this movement is to really try and strengthen these bum cheeks. Sending the lower back down as you keep squeezing your bums. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing until you're back to the starting position. So breath in. On the exhale, roll your hips towards the rib cage. Now squeeze your bum cheeks and send your hips up towards the ceiling. So this time I want you to hold that position. We're going to do something called weight shifting, which is actually much harder than it looks. This is all happening inside of your body. So if someone were looking at you, you wouldn't look like you were doing anything. So I want you to transfer the weight from your right leg to your left leg. So what I like to imagine is bags of sand. Take all the sand from the right side, putting it onto the left side. Now I'm going to exaggerate what might happen. As your left side starts to take the weight of your body, your right side might want to drop down. So I want you to really focus on squeezing your hips up. So even though the left side is taking the weight of your body, you still need to engage your right bum cheeks to keep the hips from dropping. So you can see my right foot hasn't come off, but it's light on the floor. I can slide a piece of paper under there. Relaxing the shoulders so you can feel everything in that left side is active, active, active. Now put the weight back into both legs and roll yourself back down again. One vertebra at a time, and then release back to the starting position. We're going to go and do the other side now, so breath in. On the exhale, roll your hips towards the ribcage, imprint that back, hug those abdominals in. Then squeeze your tissues, send it up towards the ceiling. Once you're at the top, holding it there. Making sure there's no weight in your neck or your head. So just relax those shoulders. Your hips are the same height if possible. Now I'm going to put the weight into my right leg. This side is a little harder for me. I can feel it's harder. So as you engage everything here, you still want to be active in that left side so that the hip doesn't drop. So squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Like I said, everything happens inside the body. This is the thing about Pilates. These smaller moves are the harder ones. Put the weight back into both legs and then roll yourself down. And then once you come down, release. So we're going to add a little bit onto this, but I actually want you to choose the side that you had your hip replacement on, or if like me, I feel like this side is a bit harder, you're going to put all your weight into that leg. So if it was your left side, your left foot's going to be on the floor. If it's your right side, your right foot's going to be on the floor. So we're going to start with the other leg in the air. Okay, so my right side felt a lot weaker, so I'm going to put the right foot on the floor. You might be vice versa. It's exactly the same movement. So breath in, tilt your hips towards you, and now as you try and squeeze, here's your challenge. You can only squeeze up with one leg. So you can see I'm a little bit wobbly. When you're in the air, have your hips gone wonky. Okay? I can feel the back of my leg really working as well. And then roll yourself down. I'm getting into a cramp. And then release. So last year, I still have a torn plate in the foot, so I'm not using this leg as much, which is why this is really good for me too. So try that again. Problem with cramps, once they start, they don't go away. So breath in, take your time, tilt your hips. Now focus on squeezing your bum and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Once you are lifting, just notice, are your hips the same height? So I can feel I'm pushing into the back of my arms as well. Squeezing, breath in, and now as you come down, keep squeezing the hips up, but bring your spine down. And then bring the leg down. Just bring the knees up. You don't want your legs especially the side you've had a hip replacement done, you don't want to bring it too close to the body. Knee stays above the hips, and just have a little rock. Ooh, so even though I've not had a hip replacement done, that was still challenging for me. Good. So roll onto your side and then bring yourself back up again, and then just straighten your legs for a moment. We're not going to do another exercise. Just sitting in this position, like especially if you did find that quite crampy, just stretching off the back of the legs can feel a bit nice after that. So I hope you enjoyed this quickie for, to help build the strength around your bum cheeks. If you like this video, again, as I said earlier, please like and subscribe. It just helps YouTube to know that it is a good video. So take care, and I'll see you on the mat soon.